Hey there, folks. I am the Mighty Plantain, and I've got something really special today. This is Rogue's Dead and Dead. This is their Dead Guy Ale, aged in Dead Guy whiskey barrels. Now, Dead Guy Ale is actually pretty damn good. I mean, the glow-in-the-dark label gimmick notwithstanding, it's a fucking awesome beer. So I can only imagine what Dead Guy Ale aged in whiskey barrels is like. And it says Dead Guy whiskey barrels, so I don't know if that's a Rogue thing or not. Dead Guy Ale aged in Dead Guy whiskey barrels. Dead and Dead complements the flavor profile of our classic Dead Guy Ale with oak and vanilla notes from our whiskey barrels. Yeah? Oh, brewed and bottled. Yeah? By Rogue. Doesn't say anything. So I don't know. I've never seen Rogue Dead Guy whiskey, so I'm assuming that maybe it's a brewery thing where you can only get it at the brewery, and they do some distilling there or something like that. But if it's anything like the Dead Guy Ale, the combination should be pretty damn good. Dead Guy Ale actually seems like a beer that would really benefit from barrel aging. So. It's a little cloudy. Maybe a few particulates, but it's quite effervescent. There's a lot of bubbles coming up from there, from the bottom there. The lighting in here is horrible. I'm hoping to fix that someday by moving to the new house when it's delivered. But yeah, I think there's actually particulates floating up through there, so that's... Visually, for me, particulates are not a cool thing. I do not like seeing them. I'm learning to get over it, though, because a lot of really good beers have particulates floating in them. Well, maybe that's just the bubbles. But it's very hazy, it's very bubbly, and because the lighting in here is so crappy... No, I think that's just bubbles. I'm not seeing any actual flocks or flecks in there when I get it right in front of the best light source in the room right now. So yeah, it's just hazy. Hazy and bubbly. Although the bubbles that are coming up, there's a lot of them, but they're not forming a really good head. I didn't get a good pour on it to begin with, but they're not contributing to building that head. But it's got a really interesting reddish copper color to it, which is kind of cool. I'm getting a bit of the vanilla that they mentioned in the aroma. Other than that, for me, a pretty neutral aroma, just a hint of vanilla. Maybe some mild sweetness coming through, but it's got a nice medium light mouthfeel. I'm getting that sweetness, that vanilla. Slightly toasted notes. What's really impressing me is this is an 8.8% ABV beer, so it's almost 9%, and it is so smooth. Yeah, I'm just getting toastiness and vanilla. That medium light mouthfeel. It's a nice, smooth, well-balanced beer. Nothing too crazy really standing out for me. I'm not getting a lot of hoppiness of any particular type. Just that slight, toasty, vanilla sweetness. And it being remarkably smooth for such a high ABV beer. I mean, there's maybe a slight hint of booziness coming through in the finish, but it's not very pronounced at all. I gotta hit this with a 3.5 out of 5. It's, you know, on a scale of 1 to 5, a 2.5 is average. So we're talking about a pretty decently above average beer here. There's just nothing in particular that's jumping out for me and that's really impressing me or blowing me away, which is, you know, surprising considering this is Dead Guy Ale from Rogue, and I do really like that beer. There's no usually about it. I always like it when I have it. But I was expecting a little bit more flavor from a barrel-aged beer, especially in whiskey barrels. But I'm getting no hint of whiskey. I'm getting slight hints of toastiness and some vanilla, like they mentioned on the label, and some sweetness, which is probably some of the wood sugars from the toasted barrels coming through. But really nothing else except that slight hint of booziness and the fact that it's a remarkably smooth beer for the level of ABV that we're looking at in there. Once again, it's solidly above average, but it's just not blowing me away or really putting anything forward to impress me or distinguish itself, which I hate to say it because, you know, it's a good beer, but I'm thinking that Dead Guy Ale is really a seasonal from Rogue that's designed to appeal to a wide audience, and this is probably along the same lines. It probably intentionally doesn't have any extreme, crazy, out there flavors, which is perfectly fine, but like I said, for me, it's just a 3.5 out of 5, a nice above average beer. That's really just one opinion. Make sure to hit me up down in the comments, the email link down below. Love to hear what you have to say about it. Whether you agree or disagree, still want to hear from you. Love discussing the beer. While you're down there, make sure to like and share the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, folks, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.